Hello friends, my name is Nick and today we're going to be doing a houseplant haul video. It's been a long time since we've done one of these. Once upon a time, I think I would do a houseplant haul video at the end of every month, recapping the 10 to 15 plants that I brought home every month. It's not really sustainable for me as a plant collector. I would have 2,000 plants if I was still bringing home that many plants every month. So yeah, I don't really bring home plants that much anymore. I'm kind of just maintaining my collection, which I find honestly to be much more enjoyable. However, it's always fun to bring home some plants, and this week going on right now is the Philadelphia Flower Show. If you haven't heard of the Philadelphia Flower Show, it is a renowned show that takes place in Philadelphia every year, revolving around plants and flowers, exactly as the name suggests. It takes place at the Convention Center, and I'm really happy it's back at the Convention Center. The past 2 years, 2021 and 2022, it was at FDR Park in South Philadelphia during the summertime. It was hot, it was rainy. I'm very happy that it's back at the Convention Center in March, the beginning of March, and it's just like the harbinger of spring for me. It just is like, the growing season's right around the corner. Go look at all these beautiful plants and flowers and perhaps bring some home. I do reels on my Instagram, and I think I'll be posting them I probably have posted them already here on YouTube Shorts, and over on TikTok, whatever platforms you follow me on. I'm sure I'm posting the little short videos of what you can see at the flower show. There's 3 main parts of the show. There's the main display, the exhibits that is probably the reason that everyone goes for. It's the main spectacle of the show. There's also my personal favorite part of the show, which is the competition section, where a bunch of people submit their plants to be judged, and they're all just like, there's like the aeroids, there's the orchids, there's terrariums. There was a lot of Hoyas this year. I feel like every year there was more and more Hoya to see, which I always really love because I always see a couple varieties that I've never heard of before and that I add to my wish list inevitably. And last but not least, there is a very large section that is a bunch of vendors selling all sorts of stuff, but as you can imagine, there's a lot of plants for sale. So I did go ahead and purchase a few plants. And like I said, I'm not normally purchasing plants that often anymore, but the Philadelphia Flower Show is the perfect excuse for me to bring in a couple plants, especially when there's so many incredible plants that are for sale. This year, mind-blowing how many different varieties of plants I saw for sale. Plants that I've never even dreamed of getting my hands on back when I was a buyer. It is just so amazing to see how far the plant market has come, and admittedly it did kind of blow up for a hot second there and the prices were just like whoa, but now the prices are coming back down to a really steady average, I would say. Still a little higher than it was back when I first was dipping my toes into buying on the market, but way lower than it was at its peak. So many incredible plants were for sale at such amazing prices, and I'm gonna share with you guys what I got right now. So I got 4 plants from the flower show, and I got them from 3 different vendors. I will share with you what vendors I got them from. I'm pretty sure I remember where I got all these from. And let's start off with the plant that I got from my personal favorite plant store here in Philadelphia. It's always been my favorite plant store. I feel like probably was open about that back when I worked at the store that I was working with. Not technically my favorite store. Anyway, my favorite plant store in Philadelphia is City Planter. It's just, ever since I started collecting plants, it's just my favorite place to go. The buyer there really puts a lot of heart and soul into the selection that they have to offer, which I obviously really appreciate. So this is a Philodendron plowmanii. I almost called it something else, which this is a fun, large leaf philodendron. Obviously, it's quite small to start right now, but the leaves are just getting going. You can kind of see that they're starting to get that typical, if you are familiar with what Philodendron plowmanii looks like. I don't have any pictures on hand to share with you, unfortunately, because this is my first one that I'm growing myself, but it's a much more exaggerated, larger version of this leaf right here. But I was not only super thrilled to find this plant for an incredibly good price, in my opinion. It was $35, by the way. I will share exactly how much all these plants cost. It has 2 plants in the pot. I feel like typically when you find aeroids like this for sale, there is just one, usually pretty beefy plant in the pot. But right now I got 2 of these plants ready to go. So if I had a friend, I could separate. If I had a friend to share this with, you could break it in half and we could have split it 50-50 and saved 50% and got 2 plants, a Philodendron plowmanii for $17 basically. which that's a great deal, but I'm gonna keep these both for myself because it gives me 2 better shots at growing this, plus I don't really have a friend to share this with at the moment. I have friends, just the friends I'm going to be seeing within this week are not ones who are going to want a plant, so I'm talking way too much about this. Defending myself. I have friends, I promise. Anyway, these are both mine, and I'm really excited to watch them grow. I think it's probably going to take into the growing season before we start to get some of these larger leaves, but I'm really hoping by the end of this growing season, if I'm able to grow this out to its fullest potential, that we are going to have some pretty large leaves. Speaking of things growing to fullest potential, I'm thinking I'm gonna get one of those greenhouse cabinets, the like IKEA greenhouse cabinets. I don't know, I've never been like against it or for it. I've been pretty indifferent by it, but I've just been suffering with the humidity in my home, particularly in the winter. The winter's almost over, but I'm still like, I want to get rid of my glass shelves that I have in my room for when I move to a future place. I'm not going to get rid of them yet. It's just, I'm going to get the IKEA greenhouse cabinet to consolidate space, get rid of my shelves when I move. For now, I can just hold on to the shelves for the time being. Anyway, greenhouse cabinet is in the works, in my mind. It's in my mind. I haven't physically done anything yet. It's not actually in the works. It's in my brain. Having a really hard time focusing today if it's not clear as day. Anyway, very excited to watch this one grow. I think it was a steal. I think it was a find. And I'm so excited that this philodendron and many other philodendron varieties are really coming in hot on the market. And like I said, that price point is coming down. It's very good in my opinion, a very fair price. I feel like most of the plants I was seeing at the show, I was expecting to see higher price tags than what I saw, and that was very, very good to see. So the next 2 plants I got were from a local plant store, also one of my favorite places to go, but it's not technically in Philadelphia. It's called Wedgwood Gardens. It's located outside of Philadelphia in the suburbs, probably about like a 30-minute, 40-minute maximum drive from where I live in Philadelphia. So pretty local, and I always have to stop and see their booth every year. And I also love stopping in their store every now and again if I'm out there. I personally don't have a car, so it takes one of my friends that I have to go out. I have friends, I promise. I rely on those friends to go out on adventures. So this is a Hoya fungii or fungii. I already have one of these in my home. This is my 3rd Hoya fungii. My 2nd one is still fine, but I just really love it. It's like a Hoya. I don't know why I'm so into just like the round, not very showy leaves. I don't know, it gives me like abovada meets carnosa. I just love it. I don't know why. And I saw this on this trellis doodad thingy, and I had to have it. They also had a bunch of different varieties. Some looked amazing. There was verticillata, which is also called parasitica, I believe, that I was so tempted to buy because those leaves were freaking gorgeous. But I already have one technically. I guess I already technically have this too, but my heart's more set on the fungi. My verticillata is growing perfectly fine, so maybe one day it will look exactly like the one I saw in the store. But my fungi, it's taking its time. I put it in the leca, in the, what is it called? The semi-hydro or passive hydro. And the roots are coming in really nicely. I can see it's got some, like a new growth shoot coming up, but I'm just kind of impatient with that one. And the one I had before, I got it from the same place. So this is my 2nd, I'm having a hard time just explaining this. So this is my 1st one from Wedgwood Gardens. My other one, which is right here, I can just reach over and grab it. It's from a different website that I purchased from yearly, and I feel like the one I got before had a little bit of scale on it, and this one also has a little bit of scale on it. And I don't think that was the demise of my last one. I think it was completely my fault why my last one died. Anyway, I'm just like, let's try out 2 different Hoya fungii from 2 different sources. That's my very long-winded way of explaining that. So if this one doesn't work out, hopefully this one works out and vice versa. But you know, 3 strikes and you're out. I typically have with my plants. So if neither of these go as you plan, then we might be saying goodbye to Hoya fungi, but I hope that's not the case because I really like it, and it's just a Hoya. They shouldn't be difficult to grow. I don't know why some of these Hoyas prove to be difficult to me, but yeah, I figured this for $35, see, $34.99 on the tag was a really good price. I'm pretty sure all of the Hoyas that they had on the trellis were that price. They had another variety that I was really tempted to pick up as well, but I was like, just get one. And this one, I know I really like it, and this looks just incredible, and a really good deal. $35 for a Hoya like this. I feel like a Hoya like this a year ago for just like 2 leaves coming out of the pot probably would cost $35. So that's a pretty good deal in my opinion. I don't know if you guys can hear Muffin snacking next to me. I don't think you probably can. I feel like I'm always like, sorry for the sounds, but my microphone never actually picks up any of the sounds. Anyway, I am just yammering. Like I said, having a hard time focusing today. I don't know what's going on with my brain. But yes, I'm very thrilled with this Hoya fungi. Just the trellis alone just is selling me, and I'm so thrilled to see Hoyas like this. I've seen Hoyas sold in like the hoops before, but they were like ridiculously expensive because they're just so fully grown. This is just, it's just got grown a little bit in the greenhouse, and it's ready to keep on growing in my home. It's gonna need a little cute pot, and I'm super excited, but I should move this other Hoya fungi away from the vicinity in case the scale are still on it. I clean it off with an alcohol wipe every now and again. Anyway, next plant. Oh, I have another one that I got from Wedgwood Gardens. This one isn't really like a collector variety in comparison to the other varieties I'm going to be talking about today. But I really want one, and also I technically have a project I'm supposed to be doing involving these plants coming up with one of my sponsors, and I totally forgot. So, yeah. I figured I would bring one home sooner than later. Anyway, this is a spider plant, Chlorophytum comosum, I believe. Oh, hold on. Muffin is gonna rub up against the tripod. Come here, baby. Come here. She was gonna move my frame. Hopefully she did not. Oh, come say hello. She's been an attention lover today. Actually, the past week or so, she's just been all about the attention. She just can't get enough of it. So I'm giving it to you right now so I can finish filming, and then we will snuggle. I promise, sweet pea. Okay, so, oh goodness. Now she just wants attention. So, spider plant. This is just a standard spider plant. There's a bunch of different varieties of spider plants that are coming up on the market. The one that I'm always seeing, and I think I have grown it before. I think it's technically the only spider plant I've ever grown because I don't know why. I just never got spider plants. I'm just really nervous. Muffin is going to knock my frame. My tripod is not the most hefty, and she could just push it with one little push of her face, which I swear, she could like break my nose with the amount of force that she has with her head. I'm honestly nervous about it. Sweet pea. Okay, hello. So, I've never personally grown like a full ass spider plant before with like all the curtain of babies, and I want that. I did grow a Bonnie in the past. A Bonnie is the curly variety of spider plant, and I don't know, I'm just like not obsessed with it. Muffin, stop it. Okay, I'm not obsessed with it. I prefer the more like 70s vibe, and you can't tell me that this just spider plant sitting inside this macrame hanger in this round terracotta pot is not just like total 70s in your face right now. Like, it looks so amazing, and as soon as I put it in here, I was like, yes. And then it's inspired. Muffin! I do not trust her right now. It's inspiring me to get more, not get more plants, but maybe move more plants that are more like full and bushy like this over to hang in my window, because I have so many trailing plants that just kind of lay flat in their planter and then hang down like 2 feet, which I love the look of, but this just stands out so much more to me amongst my hanging plants. It looks like a full bush. Muffin, I swear, sweet pea, I don't know what to do with you right now. We're fine. Okay, focusing. She's really not helping my lack of focus today. Good thing we're just doing a plant haul today and not like a full-on presentation video, because I do not have that in my cortexes. My amygdala, that's not it. I don't have any brain power right now. Okay. So I'm really looking forward to this starting to produce babies. It's probably gonna take some time. I don't think I'm gonna have any babies this year. You know what? We're taking a muffin break I'm just gonna hold up Muffin as the plant. We're gonna keep talking about the spider plant, but she needs a little attention right now. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to when it's just like a full on like waterfall of the plant babies. That's like the goal look with the spider plant, but even just by itself, I'm like obsessed with the appearance. All right, you ready to move on, Sweet Pea? Or are you just gonna go right back over to the tripod? All right, I think she is losing interest and we can talk about this last plant without being distracted completely the entirety of the time. So this, you all know what this is. This is a Piper ornatum, crocatum, whatever you want to call it. I had one of these for a couple years and I repotted it. It was a mistake. That thing died so quickly after I repotted it. I mean, I guess it kind of held on a little bit, like a couple leaves, but it was so gorgeous when I repotted it. It's such a gorgeous plant in general, specifically when the leaves grow in your home. Like these leaves are a little wonky, but I know what it can look like over time. And this one, once again, just like the Philodendron plowmanii, has 2 in the pot, which always keep an eye out because I'm sure there was plenty in the tray of Pipers and plenty in the tray of Philodendrons that were just 1 per pot, but you gotta keep your eyes peeled. And you know, it's 2 plants for the price of 1, technically. That's how I look at it. I think that's exactly how it works out. So this grew really well for me, but it's a really finicky plant. So I'm kind of going into this like, I don't know what to expect. My last one I got as a cutting, so it just like fully acclimated to my home while this has been growing in a greenhouse slightly. This was from Jordan's Jungle, by the way. They probably had the most wild selection, like that catered more towards like the plant collector. Like every single plant they had available in their booth was like something that you would see on Instagram or like purchase from like specialty stores. Tons of aroids, tons of philodendrons, monsteras, anthuriums, all of the like. They are, like I said, they're not located in Philadelphia though. They're located in Rhode Island, I believe Pawtucket, Rhode Island. So if you're in that area, definitely a place to check out. And they probably have an online store too. I'm not gonna link any of these places below, but just Jordan's Jungle. It's easy to remember, okay? So this I'm going to treat exactly like I treated my other one before I repotted it and killed it. I don't even know if I'm gonna repot it out of this. Like, I think I'm gonna leave it inside this plastic container for the entirety of this growing season. Not even gonna think about repotting it. As much as I wanna put it in something sexy, I will just stage it in something sexy, in a nice cash cow or a regular planter with a hole in it that I will put it in eventually. I originally had this potted in one of my Berg's planters, like the fancy terracotta pots that I'm obsessed with. And when I do eventually repot this, I will probably plant it in exactly the same pot that I had the other one in before, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I tried fixing it and I learned from my mistakes. But yeah, these need a lot of humidity. I think that's the major thing. I'd say I'm probably gonna put this in a little glass cloche or a Ziploc bag tent to get started. Even just since I brought it home, I noticed there's a little bit of browning on it on this tip right here and right here. The plant's going to be fine. It's just going from the greenhouse where they were growing. It had to come on a truck to be brought to Philadelphia and then sitting inside the convention center for how many days before it was purchased. And you know, there's so many factors as to why this could have happened, but the plant is fine. The plant is going to hopefully grow well. Like I said, learning from my mistakes, I killed it before, so I could possibly kill it again. But $19.99 for this, that seems like a pretty good deal. They also had larger ones that were on trellises that looked amazing, but just with my experience of the plant, I wasn't gonna buy one that looked that full and bring it home in case it was to deteriorate. Also, it's a little bit more difficult to supply humidity, like a glass cloche or a Ziploc tent, if the plant is already giant. So yeah, I figured I'd start small. Although the ones, I think, I can't remember if they were like $50 or $75, but they were worth it for the size that they were. I'm just so happy to see where the market's at in terms of how exciting the plants are, but how the price has come down to a really nice average that I feel very comfortable at. I think none of these were a burden on my wallet in any sense. So I'll just recap the prices. I think I went over all of them except the spider plant. So this was $20, $19.99. The Hoya fungi and the Philodendron plowmanii were both $35. And then the spider plant, finally, hold up the spider plant to not be accosted. Cutely accosted, might I add. This was $8 for a very full spider plant, so I think that was a very good deal. I think all of the plants that were like a more standard plant from the Wedgwood Gardens booth were all like $8. And I think most places had like a, if you buy 3 or more, maybe they cost less kind of deal, but I did not, I guess I did buy 3 or more, but I did not need 3 or more from one place because I kind of like to go around and support a couple of places, especially because these are all like small. Oh my God, here she comes. As soon as I'm with the spider plant again. Hey, sweet pea, you coming back to wreak some havoc? Oh my God, what was I just saying? I like to support a bunch of different places, especially because all of these vendors, not all of them, but most of the vendors that are at the Philadelphia Flower Show are small businesses, and I always love to support small businesses, technically as a small business, in a way, myself. You know what I'm saying. But let's wrap this up before this little one gets even more riled up and actually pushes my camera frame, and my type A personality will not handle that very well. So thank you all so much for joining. Be sure to check out my reels, whatever, shorts, whatever they're called, TikToks. I think that's what all of them are called, on the Philadelphia Flower Show, where I will just share like an overview of the Philadelphia Flower Show, as well as what you might see at the competition section, which I mentioned is my personal favorite section of the show. If you went to the Philadelphia Flower Show this year, please let me know about your experience in the comments below. I would love to hear what your favorite exhibit was or display, what your favorite plant that you saw was in the competition, any plants that you saw in the competition that are now on your wish list, and even your favorite plant that you purchased at one of the many booths that sells plants, or anything. Tell me all about it. I would actually really love to hear about it. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you don't already, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Philly Foliage. If you want to support me monetarily, you can subscribe to my Patreon and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That of course helps me out a lot as well. So I will see you guys in my next video. Have a great day.